Reenactments. I met a friend for drinks the other day to catch up on the latest news. We talked of George and John and Paul and why our team got stupid near the end zone, but it was plain that he was searching for a segue. I asked him how Mary was, and he told me not so good and that they'd split last week. He said he thought she loved a dream of him that held small correspondence to himself. When she awoke, she didn't love him anymore. The only thing that I could think to say was dreams were tricky things to set story in. He laughed and said that speaking of a dream, he'd had a strange one just last night. Mary and her friends had gathered in their spa disguised in wigs and heels. A guy he thought who wanted Mary infiltrated so that he could get a closer look at her. My friend reached for his cell and texted his wife, "How great for me to see you all go nude." The laughing girls stripped off their friends' bikinis, but upon discovering a man in drag amongst them, they turned into a pack of screaming demons, and they tore him limb from limb with tooth and nail and fought to eat his heart. Now Mary ran, my friend, in hot pursuit, for never had he loved her more than then. She prayed that God or devil rescue her, and just before he caught her trailing hand, she turned into a vine that climbed a church and terminated in a verdant noose. What can you say to friends who share such dreams? We laughed a sheepish laugh and move along. One for the road, we promised not to let so many months slip by before we met again. When I got home, I told my wife. She was not surprised. She said my friend had wed the most dissatisfied woman she had known, who had to steer the ship but couldn't pick a course, and rather than give up the helm to one who could, would run it to the bottom of the sea. That night I dreamt my own strange dream. It started at the place where my friend's dream left off. A silver moon rose from the vine and grew to full once high up in the sky. It traveled out across a darkened sea until it came to rest upon a rocky beach, and there it burst into a spray of sparks. Out of the dazzling light a woman stepped, and Mary, naked, golden, blonde, held out her slender hand for me to take. Desire and guilt whip-chained me to the spot. I prayed that something from the sea would come to save me from this sin against my friend, and just as if it were a God who answers prayers, a milk-white bull emerged from the crashing waves and bellowed like the cave where wind has origin. And Mary bowed on hands and knees before the bull, who mounted her and filled her womb with battling snakes and scorpions before he turned and went back to the sea. Mary swelled, contorted, screaming, swearing oaths, and birthed a baby then, half man, half bull. She took it to her breast until she cried in pain and begged me help her hide it where it would never see light of day again. I took her hand and led her to a cave that had 1,000 twists and turns, and there we left it, lucky to get out again. Once more upon the beach we sat and watched with mounting fear a ship with jet-black sails run with the gusting wind to shore. I woke up to a sunny clarity as strange as dreaming darkness, for I'd learned all boundaries were but vital lies, and never called my friend again.